Hello, I'm Gerkinman. This is Game Over Gerkinman. It's back. This is actually my second attempt at doing this. Originally I was playing through on normal, and the game was taking a while. So I'm going to play through this on New Game Plus. It'll be a little bit more fun. And a little, if I can remember how to actually get New Game Plus happening. Oh wait, do I just go load? And then pick New Game Plus? I think I do. New round, here we go. This is it. So, originally I was playing through this on normal and playing through it as someone who was playing through it for the first time. Not that I was pretending to have played through it for the first time. But let's get the Special 1 costume. The Special 2 costume had some issues that I ran into. Here we go. So before we get into anything, we've got... We can sell any stuff that we don't need to buy cooler shit. Looks like I have all cool shit at the moment. So hopefully by the end of this playthrough, we'll have bought... Oh yeah, I forgot I had the Blacktail. Not the Matilda. We will have bought the... What's our end goal? I'm going to try to upgrade the ride gun and get the striker for one thing, but we're going to be aiming for the Chicago typewriter before the end of the game. This is our goal, the Chicago typewriter. The Infinite Launcher is fantastic as well, but the Chicago typewriter for me is the more fun of the two, so that's what we're going to be striving for. That is the goal of this playthrough. So, let's get into it. Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time, period. Possibly my number one favorite game of all time. I'm just going to skip that cutscene. Talking over cutscenes makes me feel bad. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it. So yes, Resident Evil 4. I remember the very first time that I played through this game. I had just finished... let's get this... Oh man, my inventory is a mess. Let's fix that. I had just finished high school. I was just getting close to finishing high school. The GameCube was, on the way out at that point. I don't think the Wii had been announced yet. Actually, no, because I got the GameCube not long after that. The Wii was kind of old the GameCube, sorry, was pretty old at that point, but I remember Resident Evil 4 had been out for maybe a couple of days, and my friend Jim... I used to go to his place a lot on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, back in my school days, was the day when you went to... that was like sports day. And when you're a senior, sports weren't mandatory. Oh my god, so much shit. Sports weren't mandatory when you're a senior. This is a really boring way to start this LP. I remember going around at his place, and he showed me this game, and... I had seen GameCube games, like we'd played a lot of Smash Bros. Melee and things like that up until that point. But when I sat down to watch Resident Evil 4, like, it blew my mind how incredible it looked. It was absolutely stunning. So of course we're playing this on the PlayStation 3. This was a HD re-release. It's a nice little introduction to weird things happening.
Sir?
Better get used to seeing this guy's face. I'm not going to talk too much through the cutscenes, unless I want to point something out. I don't know if that's something that people like or dislike, but that's the way I'm going to do things.
I was wondering if you might recognize a girl in this photograph.
It's the president's daughter.
Sorry.
So of course, there's a special costume in Resident Evil 4 that's Leon's outfit from Resident Evil 2, a game I've never played. So my experience, yes, I was at my friend's place. He showed me this. He showed me the first maybe like hour, 2 hours, and it absolutely blew my mind. I did not own a GameCube at that point yet. I skipped the opening cutscene, but these are basically some policemen who brought me here. For those who don't know, I'm Leon Kennedy, and I'm looking for the president's daughter. And things very, very quickly go south. Playing on New Game Plus and not dying as much means I can focus more on the actual game and talking about mechanics and less on actually dying. Because this game, even on normal, is quite... I wouldn't say it's hard, but it has spikes where you can die accidentally quite easily. And yeah, so I'm here to save the president's daughter and whatever. But yes, I keep getting distracted. So I see my friend Jim playing this. He shows me the first hour and a bit. He showed me basically up until the first boss fight, which is a very, very special so OP playing on New Game Plus. You guys don't even know. I'd never seen anything like it. Not just like in terms of the visuals, which like did absolutely blow my mind. I still think it's a very pretty game now, and I don't mean pretty. Obviously, it's not colorful and things like that. It's very brown, and this game really, I wouldn't say it started that trend. I'd say that the start of that trend was probably Quake, which was a long time before this came out. But I never found, I don't find the browns in this to be offensive. The environment looks muddy and damp, and I think it's actually quite good. This little thing here helping this guy out, this will of course come back into play later on. It's a very, very small touch. It's the only touch like this in the game that I can really think of. There's also another trap there, and if you walk into that, you will get your legs stuck, which is not something that you want. So that's a little bit of foreshadowing of things that you can run into later on. Likewise, these mines are, you can obviously just run in between them, but they're there to let you know that this village, there are things that aren't so great. One-hit kills. I got this game, so probably like 6-7 months after it came out. I got a GameCube not long after my friend Jim showed me this. My grandmother was kind enough to buy me a GameCube, and the very first game I owned was Wave Race, because I enjoyed Wave Race a lot on the Nintendo 64. And I think Resident Evil 4 might have actually been the second game that I had purchased for the system. Or it might have been the first game that I bought myself for the system. I can't remember where I got the money from. I think at that point I was working as a dishwasher at the workers' club that my mum was working at, like in the bistro. But I remember walking into EB, they had the game sitting there on the shelf. It was in a nice cardboard sleeve. The box had this beautiful silhouette of just the Chainsaw Man, who we will be running into very, very shortly, just sitting there on the front. It was very much like the old original Friday the 13th poster, actually, in tone. Beautiful, beautiful piece of art. Taking that home, and I finished the game in about 3 days. And this game is like literally a roller coaster. It is an absolute roller coaster. Let's just look for the sake of looking. You can see what's happening in here. This opening village, when you've played through it the first time, is absolutely terrifying. It's ridiculous how overwhelming this can be. Not so much this part here. Seeing one of your comrades there on a post, of course, isn't particularly nice. But it isn't exactly going to blow your mind. But once shit hits the fan and these guys know you're here... oh, the way the heads explode just never gets old. This gets very overwhelming, and to think that this is like the first place in the game where you really... Oh, I'm pulling off all the headshots today. This is really the first part of the game, and already the game is throwing tons of enemies at you. Tons and tons of enemies at you. Way more enemies. And this is it. So you've had a chance on your way to this village to kill a couple of them. Nothing particularly... That still wasn't a one-hit kill. That's surprising. Nothing particularly amazing going on. There's a couple of them very easy to pop off. Let's get the Chainsaw Man after us. It's funny, you can actually do all this without activating the Chainsaw Man, but if you come into this building and board it up, you can actually... It triggers this cutscene, which triggers the cutscene man coming out. And he is absolutely terrifying the first time you play through this game. That guy is stuff of nightmares. This is also foreshadowing to a sequence that's later on in the game as well, which is equally intense, if not more so than this. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get to that part when we get to it. In the meantime, let's just get the cool items that are here and get the fuck out of here. Ugh. Adjusting to these tank controls is always a bit of a pain in the ass. That's where you get your first shotgun. You don't buy it or get given it. You find it right there. And Chainsaw Man has just made his way into the house. Which is obviously not ideal. He's coming up behind me, which is bad. There he is. Hello, friend. Hello, lady. Oh my god. I really did not expect that to happen. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know why I thought that pistol would stop him, actually. That was pretty stupid of me. Well, we don't need to trigger this again. Let's just plow in here. Let's get rid of these guys the quick way. Oh, I don't have a TMP. Well, I'll fix that. No, I won't. Shotgun fixes everything. I will say, the makings of a great shooter are entirely based on the quality of the game shotgun. And this game does have a absolutely fantastic shotgun. I'll probably be replacing it with the automatic one, just because it's a bit more powerful. That's all the ammo I have. Oh dear, that's insufficient. That's not enough for something like this. I guess that's probably because when I finished the game I didn't have that much left. This thing does some damage, that's for certain. Now where's Mr. Chainsaws? Also got completely maxed out health, which is cool. Ah, there he is. So that cutscene triggered at a different time now to the... That's more like it. Let's just knife him a couple times while he's down. And he's already dead. So yes, Chainsaw Man, he is a one-hit kill. He's in the very first real combat-heavy section of the game. There is another one that you fight again later on. But it's kind of interesting that there's no enemies in the late game that'll kill you in a single hit. It's just the Chainsaw Man at the beginning of the game. He's literally the only one. Maybe I should actually try aiming. That might help. We'll try spinning. That's a good trick. Not that you can really spin in this. I don't know why I said that. Star Wars. Yeah. And a good shot in the face won't fix love. It is kind of funny seeing the exact same people just walking through the door over and over again. There's certainly more character models in this in the actual game. But in the opening game especially, you'll notice that there's a lot of repetition in the character models. Like a lot of repetition. And they speak in Spanish, which I don't speak. And so the mystery thickens. So that's a very important thing there, the fact that the only thing that they really focus on, one of the characters says, is Lord Sadler. And that's going to get you intrigued as to who Lord Sadler is, which is of course what the entire game is really based around.
Bingo?
But this is a really great introduction to the game here. Logo comes up. Classic. Absolutely classic. Hunnigan wants to talk about stuff. I don't know if did the older Resident Evil games have those segments, or were they introduced just specifically for this one? The codec, Metal Gear Solid codec thing. I don't know. I never really played much Metal Gear Solid either. But yeah, this was my very first Resident Evil game. I know with a lot of game series, people say that the first one you play is your favorite. I think there are a lot of people who didn't play this one first who still enjoy it the most. But yes, this is definitely my introduction to the Resident Evil franchise, and I have played 5. I've played through 5 once, and I remember enjoying it, but never bothered to play through it a second time. And Resident Evil 6, I played through Leon's campaign, and I got incredibly frustrated because the game's got a lot of really awkward QuickTime events. I mean, Resident Evil 4 has QuickTime events. There are a lot of QuickTime events in this game, and some of them are quite frustrating, to be quite honest. But Resident Evil 6 just took it to a whole other level of annoying. Like a whole other level of annoying. That's neither here nor there. What about you? Have you played through Resident Evil 4? How many times have you rebought it? Personally, I bought it on the GameCube, then I bought the Wii version, and now I'm playing the PS3 version. I have not bought the PC version, which has the HD textures, although I've heard a lot of great things about it. But, I mean, yeah, Capcom's got my money for this game 3 times. So I'd be curious to see how many fans are actually watching this as we speak. So this is like another interesting little area. There's some things here I'd like to point out. First of all, are these little trinkets hanging around? If you shoot, I think 13 of there's 15 of them, but if you shoot 13 of them, you get a free gun from a merchant later on. And there's also this little puzzle here where there's a pendant, there's a stick here, and then there's some slop. And of course, if you shoot the pendant and just pick it up out of the slop, you can do that. Or you can always shoot the stick and then get the pendant down. And if you do that, the pendant's nice and clean, and when you resell it, it actually gets double the money it would have if it was covered in dirt. Of course, the merchant could have just wiped the dirt off. It shouldn't devalue it at all. But that's the way the game works. There's also this nice little touch here of the flyers flying around these corpses which are shoved into a wagon. Well, I don't know if nice touch is the right term, but it's a touch. It is a touch of some description. Oh shit, I've got this far in, I haven't even spoken about what the deal is in the new Game Over Gerkinman. This is Game Over Gerkinman now, it's me. Sometimes Jess or Moonguard Mir will be sitting in on these as well, but they're no longer pre-recorded. This is me playing live, which is something that's taking some adjusting to, and that's kind of why I got halfway through, not halfway through, I got a little way into this game once I got like 6 episodes recorded, and then decided I didn't like the way it was going. It was taking too long, mainly because I was dying a little more frequently, and although I've already died once in this playthrough as well, even though it's New Game Plus, which is kind of embarrassing. But some of the episodes were definitely dragging on in length, and some of the chapters were longer than they really needed to be, and because this is New Game Plus, a lot of those chapters I'll be able to burn through a lot quicker, and it means that a lot of the game's in-game chapters won't have to be cut in half, so there won't be any half episodes, which did happen a couple of times with the original recordings I did, which ultimately means that all the game's still here, it's just not going to take up as many episodes, which means I can get to another game sooner, and you guys won't get entirely bored of this game. Not that I think anyone could ever really get bored of this game. I mean, I've played through it once a year, every year since its release, basically. That's how much I love it. This is my jam. And there's a nice little diversion there. Alright, let's see what's through this gate. Where to next? Yes, the QuickTime event. This game didn't invent QuickTime events, but it certainly popularized them, I think. Gotta make these bits cinematic. Gotta have me out running the boulder. I hate these. I've certainly played through more offensive QuickTime events, but I really do not care much for these QuickTime events in general. I don't like ones that are different every time. Like, I know it's supposed to keep you on your toes and things, but I mean, if I just either make something gameplay or make it a cutscene. I hate this in-between shit that games seem to be obsessed with doing now. Alright, I'm gonna snipe these guys using my... Ooh la la. Using my sweet... Now let's see which scope this has. This has this heat sensor scope equipped. We don't want that. We want that. Yeah, now we're talking. Getting through this section without this scope is so much more time consuming. That guy throws dynamite out of the windows and it's really fucking annoying. So were bear traps, I suppose, to be fair. I ran straight into that. But, well, there's still someone over there throwing dynamite, so it's not a complete waste. It's not like you didn't get to see what happens. Like these spiders too, I don't think there's anywhere else in the game where those spiders actually show up. Also, the fact that you can shoot a dynamite stick in midair after it's been thrown and have it explode and hurt the thrower, I think that's hilarious and really funny. Like this guy here, let's... oh no, oh, there's two of yous. And he's going to explode and kill that guy. Yep, just as I predicted. Setting up little combat scenarios like that, like when you get, I hesitate to call it a combo, but it is essentially a combo. It's super satisfying. I love it. It feels weird playing through this again so soon after playing through it last time, but I'm certainly like already, you know, this was well into the second episode at this point, playing through it without New Game Plus. So this is definitely a much more speedy way of doing it. So sorry if you wanted to see the game without New Game Plus and you wanted to see it with when it takes 10 shots to kill everyone instead of 1 or 2. But them's the breaks. And honestly, as much as fun as this game is on playing through it without all the upgrades and stuff, the game becomes a whole other level of fun when you're playing through it and you're completely overpowered and you can just destroy everything. It gives it like this whole other level of charm, I feel. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's see who's in here. Senior Tapeface. With a really nice vest.
A little rough, don't you think?
It's almost flirty the way he says that.
You're not like them?
No. You?
Okay.
I really like the character animation in this sequence, actually. There's a lot of personality. The way he's, you know, messing around with his wrist and things while after he's had the rope around him. I find that sort of stuff really impressive.
Perfect.
And even a lot of games coming out now with the current gen systems, you know, the Xbox One and the PS4, don't have those little attention to details. Of course, most games coming out now wouldn't have someone say, "It's the big cheese." But you take the good with the bad. Oh no. There it is. That's the end of the chapter. That's the end of this episode. So thank you for joining me for the return of Game Over Gerkinman. As I said, this is the new format. It's all going to be live. I will very, very rarely be playing through things in post. Maybe I will very, very occasionally. But the chances are it will not be very, very often. So, yeah, hopefully I'll adjust to talking like this live over time. But thank you for having me back. I hope you're okay with my selection of Resident Evil 4. I'll also be playing another game alongside this, which I'm not sure what it is quite yet. I guess I'll see when I sit down to actually record it. But yeah, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you next time for episode 2 of chapter 1-2 of Resident Evil 4.